Our story opens like many westerns do, with grumpy and greedy people at a poker table. Blackjack Bob, mid-40s, owner of the Rusty Boots Saloon, sits with other players toward the end of the night. Like usual, he's losing. And even though it's his saloon and he can fudge the rules if he wants, he never cheats. The bartender watches in dismay as his boss is likely to say goodbye to this week's profits by going all in on a less than promising hand. In the background, Annie Maybell, mid-30s and Blackjack Bob's wife of 4 years, is deep into her booze. She sways to the piano music while chatting with her doting aunt, who shares her concern about Blackjack Bob's gambling habits. "I reckon this might be the best hand I've had all night." All in. Bob scoops up all his chips and plops them into the center of the table.
Ajabe folds her arms. "You must have gone all in half a dozen times this week." Lynn snickers. "And he didn't win but twice." Could be his bluffing about bluffing again.
You know, you folks could just play it safe and fold.
If and we fold, we ain't gonna get to see whether you was bluffing. Where do you get all the gil to go all in all the time and lose all the time? Must have himself an open tab at the bank. Clearly, Lynn thinks he's a low-down cheat.
Something like that.
I'll call. Somebody's gotta help you realize you can't gamble worth a damn.
He turns to the other player. "And you?"
The other poker player slaps their cards down with a sigh. "Nah, I'll fold," she says, then ambles over to the bar for a drink. Ajabe curtly hikes her little chin up at Blackjack Bob. Let's see him.
Bob nods his head no. "You first."
Ajabe shrugs and spreads her cards out in front of her, revealing 3 of a kind tens.
He smashes his cards face down on the table in a rage. His face contorts in a grimace, and after standing, he points and bellows. "If I was less of a person, I'd say you was giving me the run at cards all week."
No offense intended, good sir, but one does not need to cheat to best you at cards, she says in an even tone. Sure hope he won't go smashing the new flower pots outside like last time you won.
Bob rolls his neck around a bit and sighs heavily at his bartender. whiskey. Make it a double. The bartender snickers slightly. Sure thing, Bob. Looks like you could use one. Never gonna learn, are ya?
Ajabe chuckles to herself as she's shuffling the playing cards, looking all smug. Poor feller. Luck ain't on his side. It ain't his fault I got all the brains and luck for this game. Did you lose again, Bob? Annie smiles sweetly, affection for her partner clear in her eyes. Just be sure to pace yourself. I should have called the old codger. He's always betting big on nothing.
Bob looks sheepishly at Annie and sighs. All right, darling. I'll try. I promise.
Lynn snickers as she pulls her winnings into her pouch. True. Though you got some good luck on ya. How many win have you got tonight? Blackjack, Bob, I couldn't ever stay mad at you. Annie smiles warmly. Seeing you did win a few big pots, though. What would you do with all that money? Ajabe jots down in her notebook another win for tonight with a smug look on her face as she goes through all of Bob's losses. Let's just say a lot of wins already. The other poker player says, Hear that, Bob? Next time I'm taking you for all you're worth, one way or another. Not driving me to fold next time.
Bob ponders. Maybe a nice trip over to the New World. Be good to get away for a while.
Goodness! Well, here's to you then. Lynn picks up her mug after sorting her coins and takes a last swig.
Three tens.
If you'd like to learn how to really play, just let me know. Ajabe slides over a business card on the table. Only if it's with you. It'd be such a treat. Annie smiles, dreaming of new horizons. Lynn moves to stand up on her chair to reach. Couldn't have slid it more in the middle, huh? Thank you kindly.
Bob smiles at Annie. Someday.
Yeah, y'all, don't worry about helping me clean up or nothing. Lot of louts you are. And if you need some gardening advice, let me know. I'm here most nights. The other poker player shuffled the deck together, packed the chips in her case, and sighed. Same time next week? Not much for gardening, but I'll keep it in mind. You betcha! About time for me to hit the hay, Annie. Don't stay out too late.
Night, Yuri.
Later, Auntie. Stay safe tonight. She beams at her family. Looks like everyone's heading out for the night. Jabig tips her hat to the people nearby as she stands up. Looks like I gotta get going. See y'all for the next game. She smirks at Bob as she passes by him. Better practice for next time, Bob. Good night, folks. She strolls towards the doors and exits.
The bartender finishes wiping down the bar and stretches. About time I be heading out.
See you tomorrow, barkeep.
He tips his hat towards Annie and hitches up his pants a bit. Excuse me, Annie, I gotta go see a man about a horse. He ambles towards the doors and heads out towards the outhouse.
Annie nods, knowing his meaning. Lynn cleans up the table a bit, putting the chips in their slot, leaving the cards for Bob to pick up once he's back. She brings her mug to the counter. Say there, what hand did you have anyways? Lynn frowns a little as she cleans up. Wasn't very good hand, but would have still won against Bob. She looks up to Annie. Where did your fellow run off to? Lynn looks around. Hard to miss him, really.
Shortly after Annie says goodbye to everyone but the last customer, we hear a lone single pop from out back. And Blackjack Bob comes stumbling in, no breeches on, one hand holding his stomach, the other reaching out toward Annie. Eddie, I've been shot. He falls to the floor.
Bob! What do you mean? Annie rushes over, examining the wound. How could this happen? Lynn visibly panics at the sight of so much blood, but quick thinking. I'll go get help!
Bob clutches at his stomach and coughs, blood spurting from his mouth. Got me in the gut. Out in the crapper.
Did you get a good look at who did this? Annie says frantically, bandaging with a torn part of her skirt. Please, is anyone a doctor around? A doctor? Please, are you a doctor?
No, too dark. Didn't see the bastard that done it.
Annie continues to bandage the wound, her skirt becoming drenched in blood. Don't you die on me, Blackjack Bob. You hear me? Not here. Not now.
Bob coughs harder and gasps for air. Darling, I love. He coughs and convulses, draws his final breath, and his body goes limp.
Annie fumbles a bit with the cloth of her skirt as she realizes her partner is gone. She weeps into the bloodied makeshift bandages gently.
Hi there, everyone. It's me again. Blackjack Bob was a prominent figure in the community, so much so that hundreds of townsfolk attended his viewing. The Undertaker did a mighty fine job dressing him up, and were it not for the fact that he is very much dead, our affable yet deceased saloon owner almost looks like he's sleeping in that there coffin. His heartbroken widow, Annie Maybell, has remained at the funeral parlor long after the last townsfolk left. With her are the saloon's bartender, her auntie, and that beady-eyed Ajabe who won the last hand before Blackjack Bob got shot while on the crapper. What's she doing here? We'll get to that. See, somebody's gone and done killed Annie's husband, and she'll be damned if there ain't gonna be a reckoning.
Annie holds 5 cards in her hands. The 5 cards Blackjack Bob slammed onto the table before he died. The last all-in bet of his life. The hand was 2 pair, aces and eights, all black and a queen of hearts. A good hand, but not enough to beat 3 of a kind. She keeps them close, constantly running her fingertips along the final cards he ever touched. "My sweet partner is gone," she says aloud to no one, to anyone. Annie considered it a cursed hand now. If he had won with the 2 pair, could things have gone different? Grief clouded her judgment. The hand he'd been dealt even came with his favorite card, the Queen of Hearts. She peeled the Queen of Hearts away and slid it into the pocket inside her bustier top, separating the card from the 2 pair, which she stuffed into the pocket of her pants. "I shouldn't have gone to bed so early. I might have seen something, or could have stopped something."
Ain't nobody could have seen this coming, Yuri. Old Bob was just doing what he usually does on Saturday nights, losing at poker in his own saloon.
That don't make me feel any better. Ajabe clears her throat. She isn't looking at Annie, but it's clear she is the one to whom she is directing her comments. "I don't mean to be the harbinger of further unfortunate news, but there is the circumstance of Blackjack Bob's unsettled debts. To the bank, to the syndicate, to me. I know this is poor timing to raise the matter, but such is often the case when the unexpected occurs." "How dare you!" Fists clenched tight, Annie burns with anger. "Come to a man's funeral and talk about the money you're owed before he's even in the ground." "I agree with Annie. This ain't the place nor the time." Ajabe chuckles. "It's kinda sad to see that you don't know what Bob's been doing. You're his wife. You should know Bob messed with the wrong crowd." She looks at Annie with a pitying gaze. "Either way, the nature of our deal stays confidential. If you don't know, you don't want to know."
Y'alls, there ain't no reason to get all hot and bothered. Bob's in a better place now, where he can't lose at poker no more.
"Only business this sounds like is the kind that comes from a cow's rear." Annie sneers, clearly unimpressed and unshaken. "Just making sure the dues are due." "And you, ain't no place better than if you were with me," she says through tears. "Can't this wait till he's in the ground?" "Enough already." "We were only married 4 years. We met when I was 18. He was a handsome feller, but I had another suitor back then. I chose the other. By the time Bob finished his service in the Immortal Flames, my last partner had died, and he was a bitter man. Blamed me for us not having any children. Blamed me for his job losses. He was deeply unkind to me, in many ways. But then, well, he died. How was it that he died again?" I can't say. Won't.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, when I saw Bob again, he'd changed. But he was still the same in a way, too. Still keeping his heart guarded. He'd never make the first move, so I did instead. Annie thinks of all the light that Bob brought her and the town in that moment. And every moment with him felt like the healing of 1,000 wrongs from my first partner. How many moments did his killer steal from us? So yeah, I don't care about the debt. What I care about is getting the money together to hire guns to find out who did this.
Ain't none of us exactly the sleuthin' types, Annie. No offense intended.
You saying you don't care who killed him?
I want to find who killed him, same as you. Bob was the closest thing to a father I had. I'm just saying, we aren't exactly detectives or bounty hunters.
Well then, let's hire some. Take out a bank loan. Annie guffaws at the notion. The bank ain't gonna give any one of us a loan. The saloon was put up for collateral on a loan already, and I'm not my husband. I won't borrow from the syndicate. Ajabe shrugs. We should leave this to the law, Annie. Annie's eyes narrow. You mean Sheriff Fluffybun, who spends all his time at the bottom of a liquor bottle and flirting with cute auras and has his deputies do the real work? No.
I'm with Annie. Sheriff Thirsty Pants ain't gonna be much use, and his deputies have got their hands full as it is.
Annie clears her throat. Truth is, fellas, that I asked you to stay back after everyone left tonight, 'cause I need help figuring out a way to raise the guild to hire Pinkertons or bounty hunters or whoever the hell else might want to take a paid job to find out who did this. If you've got any ideas, I'm listening. Ajabe thinks for a few moments. Well, I say we have a huge private poker game party at the Golden Saucer, cheat our way through the games, and steal what we gotta steal from players who ain't paying attention to their wallets. Stealthy and swift. I'm sure we'll get some, but would it be enough? After your cut, that is. We could have a barbecue plate sale. People love my potato salad.
I say we go and get fancy labels and slap 'em on bottles filled with stuff cooked up in a bathtub. Sell 'em behind the bar. Folks won't know the difference.
I'm not sure that's even in the right area, Auntie. Sounds like a delish adventure. Didn't know? Bob's been doing that with the liquor for years. Annie pours herself a shot from the bottle on the pedestal next to the coffin and gulps it down. All right. All good ideas. Most of them anyway. But short of robbing the Eorzean Express, nothing's gonna raise the gil needed to hire guns and pay off Bob's debts. She thinks on what she just said for a second. Say, that's not a bad idea. It's a terrible idea. That train swarming with security. We'll all end up dead. Besides, ain't a single one of us who's ever done an outlaw thing.
The bartender turns to Annie. It's dangerous, all right, but doable.
I'll be dadgummed if I let you take my niece on some doomed adventure to get her killed. Annie rolls her eyes and smirks, appreciating her aunt's protectiveness even though she grew tired of it years ago. I need the killer to pay. And if that means buying guns by robbing a train, well, like he said, dangerous but doable. Yes, doable. I happen to know the Eorzean Express will be carrying a substantial amount of bullion in the vault cart from Ul'dah to Blackbrush Station in 3 days' time. A small percentage of said gold has been earmarked to the Syndicate. Protection payments for route security. The railway pays the Syndicate for protection. Figures. I could talk to my contacts, make sure security is much lighter than usual. If we do this, nobody dies. Not the conductor, not the passengers, not the vault guard. Nobody. If you're really doing this, I'm coming too. Annie smiles. Auntie Yuri, retired school teacher turned outlaw. I like it. Now, how are we gonna get this done? Ajabe looks at Annie. If we're doing this, we have to make sure we can board the train, which means we have to stop it first. We should put some fear into the feller at the telegraph office. You know, shake him up a bit and get him to have the train make an unscheduled stop.
As our inside source here has said, there's a ton of gold bullion on that train. I say we get to that cart and grab everything we can, fill our pockets to the brim, and then some.
Then it's just a matter of getting the train stopped. We'll politely relieve the passengers of any valuables they may be carrying and then make a quick exit. Should be chocobos waiting in the wings for us, and then we ride off to freedom. Sounds like we have a plan. that so, Oniuri? You saying you're in? If it means avenging Bob and watching your back, I'm all in. Okay then, let's go rob a train.
And so, a saloon proprietress, a bartender, a syndicate member, and a retired school teacher have decided on the outlaw life, driven by a hunger for some good old-fashioned yee-haw vengeance, a juicy dose of greed, and a commitment not to kill anyone. We'll see about that. Our band of outlaws set forth at the end of Act 1 with a plan to rob the Eorzean Express. Are they destined for riches? For infamy? For a coffin? We'll find out soon. Hang tight. In the meantime, here's another original composition for this production from Dizzy Sha Sha, played by K-On Vision. Let's hear it for Dizzy Shasha. But where were we? Oh, yeah. 3 days have passed, and our newly minted outlaws have arrived at the telegraph office down the way a bit from a train station. Gotta have the operator send a code to stop the train. Oh, and gentle reminder, please have shouts, emotes, and yell turned on for the duration of the show for performers only, with guests being welcome to use say. Thank you kindly.
Annie huddles with the other robbers, looking mighty conspiratorial as they enter the telegraph office. Okay, this needs to be fast. Nobody gets hurt or killed. We just need him to stop the train so we can get on. Got it? Maybe a little bit of hurt, but I agree on the no killing. Being wanted for robbery is one thing, but being wanted for murder is something else.
The bartender smirks. Pragmatic as ever, I see.
Auntie frowns. She just cares about her own skin. But Annie's right. Cut the bickering. Are your bandanas on tight? Yours looks loose, Auntie. It's on good.
He regards his fellow outlaws with a look that has a meaning we can't quite figure out. Check your rounds, too.
Ajabi removes her pistol and cycles through the loads, then holsters it. My weapon is fully functional, but there should be no need. I've been assured Syndicate security will disembark at the stop prior to this one. My gun's unloaded.
Good way to end up dead, if you ask me.
All the same, I ain't trying to kill nobody. Suit yourself, old-timer. My guns are loaded just in case. Ajabi fixes her hat and regards Annie with growing impatience. We doing this or what? I'll keep watch outside. You three do the shakedown. Make it quick.
The bartender draws his weapon. Let's get to it, he says, and kicks open the door to the telegraph office. Well, howdy, folks. How can I help? He notices the weapons and trembles. Oh dear.
Ajabi walks in looking around the room, making sure there is no one else around. Make sure this feller doesn't have any weapons on him. If you'd be so kind, sir, me and my friends here need the train to make an unscheduled stop. Preferable now, before my friend's fingers start itching.
The bartender grabs the operator and shakes him by the collar. If that train doesn't stop, the next box sent out of here will be a box with your body in it. I don't think that'd be... The operator gets roughed up and panics.
Ajabi goes over to the operator. Look, my friend here ain't one for patience. She points at the bartender. Just calmly send out a message so the train can make a stop. Simple as that, and no one gets hurt.
Okay, don't hurt me, please. It's my last day.
Clock's ticking.
The operator sends the message while sweating a bit.
Y'all need to be careful. Annie pokes her head into the room. Somebody's coming. You all get over into the corner and act normal. And you, telegraph man, mess this up and we'll shoot you and the guest both, she says. She turns around and kneels to tie her boots, purposely in the way of the guest to buy some time. Act natural. The guest removes their hat and gives a gentle nod of their head. Pardon me, miss, but I need to pass by. I have a box to give to the operator. Annie takes her time tying her boots. Give me a daggum second, she says, finally shuffling to the side after several seconds pass. The guest frowns, ambling around Annie. Much obliged.
The operator feigns boredom as the guest approaches. He even hums a happy tune.
The guest plops the box onto the counter.
Good day, sir. This needs sent to Shaloni via telegraph. The specific address is on the top of the box.
The operator is clearly confused. You want to send a box via telegraph?
Yes, I'm not up to date on the latest advancements in tech, but my neighbor assures me I can telegraph this box to Shaloni.
I'm afraid your neighbor has, pulled one over on you. Boxes cannot be sent by way of telegram.
Well, then how do you send them?
The operator pauses, unsure of how to explain this to someone who has apparently never mailed a box before. By freight.
Fine. Freight, then. The matter is rather urgent. How much for express delivery?
1 million gil for express, 100,000 for regular.
The guest staggers.
Nothing short of robbery, if and you ask me.
Hurry up already. I have some business here too.
1 million gil. Very well,
she says and makes the trade.
The operator takes the gil and box with a forced smile. He wipes sweat from his forehead. Thank you. Anything else?
That will be all.
They turn, put their hat back on, and offer a curious look to Annie, then trot away, disappearing into their own adventure and out of this one.
Back to it. Wrap things up in there and fast.
Ajabe makes a get-a-move-on gesture with her free hand as she looks around.
Oh, shucks, not again!
I hope the message has been sent. This doesn't need to get any meow violent.
I did! It'll make the stop! Oh, I just wanted a quiet last day.
Just tie him up already.
I ain't seen it stopped. You better make that train stop, or I'll make your heart stop on account of my gun going off! The bartender continues shaking and roughing up the operator.
It's about to be a very quiet last day for ya.
I knew I should have called off.
What's going on in here? Are we good to go?
The bartender hog-ties the operator after throwing him to the ground, grabbing their keys. I'll take care of you for now.
We're good. Annie casually flips the sign to closed.
So our merry band of outlaws leave the poor telegraph operator hogtied and a little shaken up, but alive. By the way, the telegraph operator scene was the opening scene in the silent film. So, what happens next? Sec here, let me take a look-see at my notes. Oh yeah, they're fixing to rob the train as soon as it comes to a stop in just a few minutes. This next part was the central scene of the 1903 film, and we're reimagining it Eorzean style right after this next original composition from Dizzy Shasha. Let's hear it for Dizzy Shasha. Dadgum, that was a good song. Just the perfect tune to move us from the telegraph office to the mail cart aboard the train. See, while everyone was enjoying that sweet, sweet yee-haw music, our robbers boarded the train while it made an unscheduled stop. It's picking up speed. Can you hear the chugga-chugga roar of wheels against rails? Can you smell coal and oil and smoke? Do you see the view of freshly painted wooden buildings from a small town give way to a vast expanse of plains spotted with cows? Now, according to their syndicate connection, a considerable amount of bullion and gil is in the mail cart. Annie and friends hope to do a smash and grab, then make their way to the front of the train.
Annie huddles with her posse behind a crate in the mail cart, spotting a guard. She turns to the syndicate with a look of disappointment. You said no guards. Ajabe takes a peek into the mail cart room. I said syndicate security would be light. We have only the one guard to deal with. That's not a syndicate man. He looks like postal service security. There's one on most trains if items of considerable value are aboard. No killin'.
The bartender unholsters his six-shooter. Not from you, anyway. That guard's wearing a shooting iron round his waist.
Indeed he is, she says and draws her weapon.
Salutations, passengers, and welcome to the Eorzean Express! We're the finest luxury railway this side of Eorzea, and you know it! Far better than those wretched chocobo lines. Now, you know the rules. Let me see all your tickets now. He takes a sip out of a coffee mug while checking tickets.
Disarm him, but don't kill him. We're here for money to help find a killer, not become killers ourselves.
Daru presents his ticket to be seen. Yipe! You gall darn! If y'all roustabouts were looking for the train conductor, tough luck. Y'all found the pain conductor! He shoots 3 shots, each one going wide of each other and not particularly at anyone.
This tryhard is firing real bullets. One nearly hit me. I should have loaded this darn thing.
Dagnabbit. Ajabe quickly follows the others and takes cover behind the crates, preparing to shoot as shots start to be fired.
Corpa shoots all 3 shots into the barrel in front of him. Frothy beer spills out, covering the train floor.
You're outmanned and outmatched, Annie says as bullets whiz by, clearly caught off guard.
Ajabe smirks as she realizes this guard can't even shoot straight.
Oh, phooey! I surrender! Should've got the 12-shooter!
I've never seen a man miss with all their shots. I'm not sure security is his calling. Make sure to hogtie that guard.
Annie stops for a second, realizing someone might be coming. I think we've got company.
A record scratch is audible as the conductor turns his head towards the mail cart. One moment, my wonderful passengers. Guard, whatever your name is, what is going on in here? I have passengers complaining about the... He cuts himself off, seeing the intruders, and blinks while staring at them. He drops the mug, which shatters with that cow mooing sound effect. Oh, what the hells? I am 1 week from my pension! He rushes forward to grab the door lock, but it falls off when he touches it, and bounces to the ground and out the passenger door. What just happened?
Ajabe dashes towards the guard and grabs them by the arm as she points her weapon at the engineer.
Hold it! If you don't stop the train, this guard gets it.
Mr. Terrence Rangineer, if they shoot us, we might die. Or worse, not get paid! What, and you think I care if he bites the dust? Ha! No, it'd be lovely to not have to hear his annoying shouting all the time for once. Please shut him up!
Oh, really now?
But, fine, I would rather be paid. Duh.
Ajabe shoves the guard towards the bartender as she jabs the engineer with her gun to get them walking. Let's go. No sudden movements.
All right, conductor, you can do this. Just all smiles to the passengers. You'll never fully dress without one. Oh, I hate my job. Your ride stops here, fella. The bartender picks the guard up and tosses him over the side of the train. Off you go.
Why the hell did you do that?
Didn't kill him.
You can't know that for sure. Feller might have snapped his neck out there.
Ow! Ow! Oh, that hurts! The bartender kneels over the chest and begins stuffing his pockets with treasure. I'm getting right tired of your whining. We gonna get this done or not?
Auntie nods, takes out a brown sack, and empties the chest of bullion and gil.
A couple minutes pass as our robbers go about the business of looting the mail cart. Annie and our syndicate connection are in the next cart stopping the train. Thank the nine that the passengers are conveniently located on the other side in the opposite direction, one cart down from the mail cart. Otherwise, this story might have had a small plot hole. But anyway, the sway of the locomotive settles down a bit, and the landscape that was rapidly passing by outside, well, it ain't whipping by so fast anymore.
You feel that? The train's slowing.
Ah! The conductor's hat flies from off stage onto the set. Damn right it is. Almost stopped, in fact. The conductor appears to be tied up and gagged with a badly drawn smiley face on the gag. He mumbles while struggling in vain to free his hands.
Where's the guard?
The bartender points to where the guard was thrown off the mail cart. Early departure.
No time to ponder things. The VIP cart's next. They've got the gil.
All right, listen up. This is a robbery. If you fine folks would oblige me, please place all your valuables in these sacks and we can all go about our merry way.
Ajabe goes over to the VIP cart with her gun in the air. Pew pew and the sword. Yes, you're being robbed, so y'all better be bringing out those valuables if you value your life. See what I did there? Ajabe chuckles as no one is clearly laughing back. Ahem.
Y'all better empty those pockets.
You. If you value your life, I suggest you giving up everything you got in your pockets.
Every last gil.
The conductor pries the gag off by rubbing it against his shoulder, magically kicking his hat back onto his head in the process. Oh no, they're robbing my annoying, disrespectful customers! Who are we going to overcharge if the papers write about this?
I don't want to.
Oh, but you have to.
Hey, moneybags, hand over everything you got. But I ain't got nothing except these here grade 1 dark matter.
I see them fancy earrings. Hand them over. Passengers, there's no need to panic. Calm down. The Eorzean Express has everything under control.
Fine. Thank you very kindly.
Or the fellow next to you gets it.
Don't move.
What a day to sneak onto a train. I don't have any. Only cheese. They turn their pockets inside out, and only slices of cheese fall out.
I want all your valuables in my bag, even that cute Kate Spade bag.
Oh, who am I kidding? This is the worst train robbery I've ever seen. Thank the 12 no one is filming this, or it may just go down in history as the terrible train robbery. Ha!
You, watches, jewelry, rings, anything of value is now meowine.
Just please don't hurt us. We appreciate y'all's cooperation in this trying time.
Hand over every last gil you got, or you'll regret it.
Got something there, don't ya?
Please, I have a daughter somewhere, probably.
Oh, 7 hells, I'm going to lose that pension. There goes all my dreams of retiring to a private island in Lenosha with a bunch of tacky mammoths where no one can bother me.
It better be more worth than what she got anyway.
No funny business, or I start blasting.
Oh, horse feathers! This is all the god's fault! He had one job to do, and he can't even do that right! If he survives that fall, I'll send him to the 7th hell myself!
Everything in the bag, miss.
And you there too.
Smell me! Do I smell like money? Nah, I can't even afford a shower!
Even your carrots.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure.
Care to follow up with the money? I expected something more pleasant, but something is something. Ajabe pockets the item.
Miss, everything of value, please. All right, we're out of time.
And he turns to those who have just been robbed.
You all stay in your seats. No funny business.
She points at the engineer.
And you get that train out of here right now, understand?
She unties the engineer and makes a shooing motion with her hands towards the exit of the train cart.
The engineer nods and slowly backs away. Of course.
We'd better get moving. I've got the chocobos ready just down the way.
Wait.
What is it? The clock's ticking.
You two won't be joining us.
You backstabbing cow pies!
This could have ended much sooner, but then your dear niece suggested robbing a train.
What the hell are you two on about?
They're serious, all right.
The bartender hawks a huge wad of phlegm and spits it on the ground. Blackjack Bob was a stupid son of a gun. Putting up the saloon as collateral for gambling money? I've been stashing Gil away from other heists to pay off the debts. He ran the saloon into the ground. Now, it's mine.
Annie speaks through clenched teeth, the realization of betrayal descending on her like an avalanche. You
were supposed to die that night with him, but there was too many people around. You were supposed to die after the viewing, but then you suggested we rob a train.
You used us!
Ajabe shrugs. The syndicate wanted too much of a cut, so we paid them off to not be involved.
It's a shame you came along, old-timer. You didn't have to be here.
Annie has never been one to wait on other people. She draws her gun and fires.
The bartender drops his weapon and stumbles backward. I've been hit. She got me in the leg. Kill them both. I'll get the chocobos, he says as he stumbles away.
Ajabe brings her gun up in a flash and fires a volley at Annie, knowing Auntie's gun isn't loaded. Auntie hurls herself in front of Annie. Bullets slam into her body. She and Annie tumble to the ground. She watches the syndicate member turn and flee, running, as cowards so often do. Auntie Yuri! Stay here, I'll get help. I'm shot up something awful. I'll get the town doc. Hold on.
How about that bartender? What a jerk! It was him and his accomplice the whole time, conspiring to take the saloon from the Maybells. He used Annie for her skill with a gun, and her poor old auntie was just caught up in the circumstances. Is she dead? Well, beats me, but she sure looked pretty hurt. And so, Act 2 draws to a close with a robbery gone messy, and Annie running into town to find help for her auntie. If I was her, I'd be pretty mad about them bad fellers getting away. But we'll see what happens in Act 3. Until then, it's intermission time. Go ahead and hop up from your seats, do a stretchy stretch, and enjoy these original compositions from our intermission show, The Omni. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Let's hear it for the Omni! They sure are talented. Hope you had a nice break. Okay, we're off to Act 3. Scene 1 opens with several people gathered inside a barn for, of all things, a barn dance. See, while all that rootin', dootin', robbing, and shooting was going on, townspeople across the way were busy with weekend libation. Annie's on her way into town, hoping to save her Auntie Yuri. Naturally, she heads to the noisiest place around in search of people who can help. Also, all of you are at this barn dance, even though you're in your seats and not on stage. So please, if you'd like, hop up on off your seats and do any kind of dancey dance you'd like in the audience, as our story moves to the barn dance scene from the silent film.
So I hear you a doctor? We don't get your kind around here. I'm indeed a doctor, graduated from Papa Doctor's doctoring school. My elixirs cure all, if you're ever in need of one. It's deader in a morgue in here. Akane grumbles to no one in particular. Was really hoping for some excitement, though. When I tell you the cactuar was coming at me, I swear, I wasn't drinking nothing. It really was running for the hills on the night Bob... Lynn stopped, the mirth gone, taking a drink she wished that big guy was still around. Do you carry those magic pills thingings or that magic water? I heard they can cure any sickness right away. I do, but for a fee. I promise ya, I am a doctor that heals any and all. Did I hear you say you were a doctor? Got any time to stop by the parlor house tomorrow? One of the girls come down with something awful and she ain't working. I gotta pull double duty. I know, lass. He loved your tall tales. I miss having him here. And his money. The other poker player gave a half-hearted grin. You think this can cure my pa's cold right away? He been sick for a while and I have to take care of our chocobos on my own. He'd say it was the only thing tall about me. Lynn openly sobbed now, unbecomingly, upon her drinking partner's blouse. Of course, darling. No need to worry with Dr. Eddard in tow. Hey, you. What is it that you do to make a living? Wait a minute. Are those pills approved by the Eorzean Culinary and Alchemist Association? Depends on who's asking, but they are safe. That's mighty kind of you, but I'm just a simple folk. I don't have the money. Come here, darling. Cry it out, and then let's toast him. A drink for old Bob, the losin'est, darndest, best cowpoke in Thanalan. Lynn is sobbing into her alcohol she toasts with her friend. I guess the Lullafell is a little short on cash. Now, I promise we can work something out. I don't want your folks succumbing to something they don't have to. Hey, I heard you was a tracker? Well, I'll be. This might just be my lucky day. I've got the names of a couple deadbeats who tried to pull a fast one. We can split what they owe me if you can drag them in. Alive, that is.
I hope the monster what got him is put down. I'll track anything. I'll track those deadbeats. I'll track the cops that should have gotten those deadbeats. I'll track myself.
Really well, thank you, Doc. I'll let my friends know about you. Let's meet at the parlor house tomorrow and we can talk business then. Might even give you a discount.
Akana says with a wink and a grin.
Someone's been shot! Is there a doctor?
The tracker turns to her friend. This feller right here, Miss Eddard, has been a student of medicine for years. What happened?
The Eorzean Express was robbed! They shot my aunt on their way out!
Only thing I hate more than robbers is killers. You see which way they went?
Yeah, but my aunt is hurt pretty bad.
Miss Eddard here will see to your aunt.
My aunt, she tried to stop one of them. She's out there by the train station.
Of course. I'll tend to her at once. How many robbers?
Four robbers, I think. Might have been 3. 2. I'm not sure, it happened so fast.
I've had worse odds. Show me where you last saw these ne'er-do-wells.
I'm coming with you.
That won't be necessary. And he clenches her fists and gives the tracker a furious gaze. They shot my auntie. 2 against 4 is much better odds, no matter how damn good you think you are. Fair enough, but I ain't responsible if and you get yourself killed. The only ones gonna die are them who shot my aunt. Let's go.
All right. Looks like old Annie Maybell's got herself a seasoned tracker on her side to go after the bartender and syndicate. Looks like she lied a little bit too, playing the victim instead of the robber. She knows full well it's only 2 robbers left, but she's thinking ahead. Smarter person than she lets on. Not unlike that despicable bartender. I sure do hope the aunt's okay, but she may be out of the story for now. Annie and the tracker have got to find themselves some robbers. But before that happens, we hope you enjoy this next original composition from Dizzy Shasha. Also, feel free to have a seat again as the barn dance scene is over, but if you'd like to keep standing and dancing, that's okay too. Let's hear it for Dizzy! He's one heck of a feller. But what happened with Annie and the tracker while he was playing? Well, let's fast forward just a little. Several hours have passed. She's gone down and led the tracker to the robbers' meetup location in the woods, feigning how she knew where it was. And with them knowing Annie got away, they of course weren't there. But we've followed their trail all the way to the thick depths of the backwoods, deeper than Annie's ever been.
You are sure nobody else knows about this place?
Been my hideout for years.
Very well, but I won't be staying long. Not the backwoods type.
No, I don't guess you is.
Say, I've been wondering something. How'd it feel to kill Blackjack Bob? I mean, if he really was like a father to you and all.
The bartender picks up a stick off the ground, yanks out a knife, and begins whittling the edge of the stick. There was a time when I loved and respected Bob.
What happened?
He thinks it over for a second. Imagine being me. And you feel like all the hard work, everything you done for years, might be taken from you. All to satisfy one man's greed.
Bob didn't seem the greedy type, just addicted to cards.
Any kind of addict is greedy. Booze, cards, brothel goers, all of them. Self-interested.
Says the man who murdered someone to steal a saloon.
To save a saloon.
You killed Bob because you wanted what he had. You're as greedy as the rest of them.
You might want to shut up.
Or what? You didn't save a damn thing. The bank would have sold the saloon to someone else who would have ran it better than either of you.
The bartender stands. You love insulting people. I'm surprised nobody's gunned you down yet.
Ajabi folds their arms and smirks. Sure you can draw that gun fast enough? I ain't an old man on the crapper.
He turns and gazes into the woods behind him. You hear that? He asks. Something's out there.
Ajabi draws their gun. We've been followed.
He hears twigs snap, wipes sweat from his brow, and stifles a wave of panic rising in his chest.
Throw down your weapons!
Like hell. Throw down yours!
How'd you find us?
It don't matter. Last chance. Toss your weapons.
At least face us in the light instead of trying to shoot us in the dark like cowards.
The bartender scowls. Well, looky here. It's Annie. He turns to who she's with. And who are you? Let me guess, you're some fool who thinks they're helping out some innocent Eorzean.
The tracker shoots a quick glance at Annie. How's he know your name? Go ahead then. Tell this bounty hunter or whatever she is how we know who you are.
This'll be funny.
Annie slowly removes her gun from its holster and cocks the hammer back. Addressing the tracker while keeping her gaze fixed on the bartender, she says, I reckon I used you. I couldn't have tracked them on my own. I'll confess everything soon as I blast these bastards to hell. Ajabe fires a burst of rounds in Annie's direction. Who was the one with the great idea to go robbing a train, huh?
You always were a scum, Syndicate. I'll be doing the world a favor taking both of you out of it.
And he fires just wide, bullet whizzing past Ajabe's head.
Annie, you know these people? Always were?
The bartender dodges the bullets. Annie, you're just as damn dull as Bob was. Maybe just as greedy too, suggesting to rob a train. He scoffs.
Bob trusted you, cared for you, and this is how you repay him?
Ajabe dodges as she fires a burst of rounds in Annie's direction. Yeah, Annie, tell him about how you came up with this whole plan to rob a daggone train and buy guns to avenge your pitiful husband, Bob.
He spits. Annie Maybell, you do best to shut that mouth of yours. You don't know what you're talking about.
You did what now?
Ajabe points her gun at the tracker and lands a shot right through the chest. Ajabe smirks at Annie. What are you gonna do now, huh? Your pal there can't even stand on 2 feet. Ajabe prepares her last round of bullets, a clicking sound heard through the forest as she points the gun at Annie's direction. Say hi to your husband for me. As the tracker is gunned down, Annie aims true in the confusion. For Bob, she says quietly, as she pulls the trigger and sinks around into the Syndicate's stomach. Ajabe looks down in a state of shock and gasps. I've been hit. I've just been shot. I've been shot. Ajabe limps away from everyone as she's holding her bleeding stomach. You ain't seen the last of me. Her limp turns into a staggering run as drops of blood fall to the floor. Just us now.
About to just be me.
Why kill Bob? Couldn't you just have, I don't know, just bought him out? He never did harm to nobody.
Is that so? He wasn't always the nice old feller who runs a saloon.
I suppose this is where you tried to discredit him to me.
It ain't my fault you never knew Bob like me. Ever wonder why I grew up in the saloon as Bob's own little orphan boy?
He took you in after your parents died of consumption. You weren't but a few years old. He repeated that story so many times to the saloon our regulars had it memorized, almost word for word.
Say a lie often enough and you start believing it yourself even. But I'll never forget what happened. What he did.
What are you on about?
I was 10 when it happened, not 3. And I remember everything.
Go on then. Spit this nonsense out while I reload.
If you want to call the truth nonsense. I was in the living room with my ma and pa. It was late and happened fast. A man came bursting into our home, reeking of booze and sweat and high on who knows what, rambling about needing money to pay debts.
You're telling me this was Bob?
He was a nervous mess. Held my ma and pa at gunpoint while he went to robbing the place, stealing jewelry and whatnot. When he went to reach into ma's pockets to see what she might have, pa intervened. Bob drew and shot, but missed.
Annie hesitates momentarily. You spin a good yarn.
I watched it all from the stairs. The shot, it hit Ma instead. She stumbled backward into the fireplace and knocked over a lantern. A fire started. Pa fell apart seeing her like that. Held on to her and wouldn't let go. Forgot all about Bob, who at least had the sense to grab me and yank me out of the house as it went up in flames.
Lying to buy yourself time.
Am I? Bob's the one who always lied. Said he saw the house burning and went in to try to save anyone who was inside. He got me out, but never knew I saw the whole thing from the stairs. Ma and Pa never came back out.
Been holding on to this all these years, have you?
He spent the rest of his days raising me out of guilt and lying about what happened. See, people are evil, Annie. It's all there is. Some just hide it better than others. Like Bob.
I'm not evil and neither was Bob. Everyone's flawed, but we ain't all evil.
Just flawed. Can't you feel it? Like something's just plain wrong with all of us. Like underneath the surface we're all vile, and there ain't nothing that's gonna save us.
And he rests her hand on the hilt of her gun. We all may be a little broken, but we can help each other.
Optimistic nonsense.
And he spits on the ground in front of the bartender. The only vile person I've ever known is right here in front of me.
You didn't see what I saw him do all those years ago.
You're a liar and a coward who will say whatever they can to save their own skin.
You need a count before we draw?
The bartender spits on the ground. You go to hell, Annie Maybell.
The bartender draws, but Annie draws faster. She doesn't hesitate in that moment, firing a shot directly at the center of mass. You've always been mean, but you've never been fast. Now, if you want to live, you'll tell me where all that money is you said you stashed away from all the other heists you mentioned.
How do I know you won't kill me anyway?
You don't. But if you don't tell me, I'll kill you for certain.
He nods towards the cave over yonder. There's a chest in the cave. Way in the back behind some rocks. Happy?
Long as you ain't lying, I'm gonna check.
Fine. Check. But then go on and Go get me some help before I bleed out.
I don't know. I want to pull this trigger so bad. And maybe I should give you to the authorities. Let them decide.
He sounds weaker with each word. I'm gonna bleed out soon if you don't get...
And he reaches into her pocket and pulls out the hand of cards Blackjack Bob had before he died. She has kept them all this time. She stuffs them into the bartender's shirt pocket. This was the hand he had before he died. Aces and eights. Is yours now.
Phew! Boy! That bartender sure did drop a doozy on old Bob's reputation, didn't he? Was he lying? Was it true? Hard to say. But what happens next? Is she gonna pull that trigger and dispense vigilante justice? Or is she gonna take the high road and try to save this man's life? We're going to take a 3-minute pause in the narrative. During that pause, we'll be taking a vote from our VIPs, the guild sponsors of this production. They are going to decide the bartender's fate for us. VIPs and those watching the stream, just keep in mind that if Annie takes the high road and spares this man, he may come back and accuse her of plotting the whole train robbery to the authorities. But who would believe such a feller anyway? Vigilante justice might keep her safe, but it further blurs the morality between good and bad. 3 minutes!
Annie's face contorts in anger as she screws up the courage to do what needs to be done. She thinks of Bob, of all the terror inflicted by the bartender, and how he took Bob. In that moment, she does not hesitate. She pulls the trigger firmly, and the bullet tears through the back of the bartender's head and out the front.
The bartender releases a scream. No, a cry that's enough to satisfy anyone out for vengeance, as he is shot. Unable to rise above the trauma, evil reigned victorious in his soul. A soul full of bitter revenge has finally been put to rest.
Better than you deserved. She spits on the ground next to him and pushes him to the side with a kick. Now to grab what's due and get out of here.
Let's hear it for Dizzy Shasha. Dizzy is downright dazzling. I just used a lot of words that start with D. But anywho, here we are, back to the saloon, a few weeks after the standoff in the woods. The final scene showing where our beloved characters are going to leave the story.
Annie takes a deep draught from her stein, gulping back the frothy ale. She sets the mug on the counter and wipes her face with the back of her hand. It's been 3 weeks, she thought, and still no law had come barging through them swinging saloon doors. Annie wonders, how well had she concealed her appearance during the robbery? Had her voice, which she'd altered during the heist to sound more gruff, been changed enough so as to be unrecognizable? Paranoia and uncertainty had swept through her mind in the days that followed, but she tried to ignore it. She darn sure earned a reprieve. Gimme another.
The new bartender nods and fills up a tankard from the tap, then slides it across the counter.
Auntie turns to Annie. You really think Bob did those things? Broke into a house all drunk and high and did what he did to those people? Annie ponders for a moment. All I know is he was good to me, whatever his past. But we all have our skeletons, that's for sure. Annie nods towards the tight bandage wrapped around her aunt's midsection. How's that hole in your side doing? Auntie pats her belly and smiles. Bullet plumb tore a chunk out of me, but didn't hit nothing major. I reckon I'll be all healed up and right as rain in a couple more weeks. Good. Saloon's debts are all paid off and we've got extra security hired on in case the syndicate comes knocking. But you're still about the only one I really trust around here. We still don't know if our syndicate friend survived. Fella ran off after I shot him. I don't know if she died in the woods or keeled over somewhere else or made it back to the syndicate and spilled the beans. And there ain't nobody suspicious of us? You sure? Lots of witnesses saw there was 4 robbers, but there ain't no way anything can be pinned on us. Good. Besides, I've been pushing rumors it's the same gang who's been holding up them stagecoaches in Shaloni. Gossip spreads fast. Auntie rests a hand on Annie's shoulder and gently squeezes. Let's not worry about it right now. Tonight, we're gonna celebrate, she says and saunters away to dance. How's the game going anyways, folks? I don't think I want to dance after all. Ain't the same without Bob. I'm the losin'est hand at the table now.
Maybe an operator was too stressful a job, but maybe the railway will be more relaxing. The operator mutters to himself a bit.
Well, I ain't. I'm not even sure if I'm playing this game right. It never will be, I'm afraid. But at least things are turning a corner. Annie raises her mug for a toast. For Bob, may he be losing his chips in the heavens. Or maybe winning some. Really could have used that tracker to find the men who wronged me. Too bad she went and got killed. If I could give anything to see Bob lose our earnings again, I'd do it. Annie smiles wistfully. If you'll excuse me. Too much to ask of the heavens, lass. Thank you, Doc. You really pulled me out of a bad spot. Wanted to thank you for patching up my auntie here. She's mighty appreciative. We all are. Doctor is surprised to see Auntie up and about. Well, seems I did the trick. Glad to see you recovering good, ma'am. If you ever need a place for a cold drink, you know where to find it. Annie places a hand on the doc's shoulder before walking away. I will take you up on that.
And then I told him I was the pain conductor and fired a couple warning shots before tucking in and rolling right out. It was cool and very intentional.
Aces and eights, is that a good one?
Oh, that's colorful, my friend. Oh, you truly never slack on the job. Well, while you've been handling lowly sinners, I must tell you what I stumbled onto by the water.
Maybe be careful round the outhouse, Dove.
Salutations, my dear! The engineer holds up a hand in greeting to Annie. You do have quite a lively place here, if I do say so myself. I was just telling my old friend here about the lovely vacation I took to the Cialdales with my pension. I befriended an alligator and named it after this little guy here, who I don't remember the name of. Oh, it couldn't have come at a better time, really, after those robbers tied me up my last week on the job. My old friend, whatever your name is, could you get me another round?
Doc stares in awe as the woman seems to be recovering. Wow, I must be a doctor! Seems like some stories do have good endings after all. Annie says as she surveys the bar, happy and content. You're right, Auntie. Tonight, we celebrate.
And so, Annie and her beloved family member save the saloon and avenge old Blackjack Bob. But who knows what happened with that syndicate person? Maybe they'll show up in a sequel. Maybe not. Annie don't know any more than the rest of us on that one. But wait, we ain't done yet. The closing scene of the Great Train Robbery from 1903 has a robber shooting a pistol directly at the camera. Now, we ain't gonna be doing that to you here tonight. Instead, we've got ourselves a dance. So hop on up from your seat and get ready to celebrate that beloved film with us. While we're at it, let's get the entire cast and crew on stage, even the ones who ended up killed off. They may not have made it to the end of the play, but we assure you our full cast and crew are all alive and well. Come on up, cast and crew. Round of applause for all our talented cast and crew, please. They've been working on this production for a couple months now, and it has been such an honor to spend time with them bringing this play to Eorzean. Okay, y'all, if you loaded that macro you were given at the start of the show or before, get it ready. Dizzy Shasha is going to play us a song. I'll do the countdown, and when I say go, hit that macro and we'll all dance together. And if you have the machinist job class, the closing move will be the finger gun V-pose, throwing a little nod to the closing scene of the silent film. Get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!